Hello guys, in this video I'm going to show you how to create a bootable disk with macOS Sonoma. Now here are the requirements. First, we need at least a 32 gig flash drive. If you have anything more than that, that's fine. Second, we need balenaEtcher, and this is what we're going to use to create a bootable disk. Third, we need MiniTool partition wizard. Fourth, we need Explorer++. Fifth, we need macOS installer file. We also need EFI configuration file, and lastly we need GenSMBIOS, which we are going to use to create unique serial for macOS Hackintosh. Now it is important to know your CPU model so you know the right EFI file you should download. Now to check your CPU model and generation, hold Ctrl+Shift+Escape key and it should open Task Manager. Now click on Performance, and then under CPU you can see over here Intel Core i5, which should be different for you depending on the CPU you're using. Now you can see after Core i5 you can see 4578. This means this is a 4th generation CPU. Now we have to align the generation of the CPU to the code name, because when we are downloading the EFI we need to download the EFI based on the code name of our CPU. So this is a 4th generation CPU, so this is Haswell. Now the links to each and every one of the files in the requirement section is in the video description, so you can head to the video description and download each and every one of these files. Now let's open our download folder, and here we go. This is balenaEtcher. This is our EFI file. You can see Haswell, which is a 4th generation based CPU. This is Explorer++. This is GenSMBIOS. This is macOS Sonoma Image File. And this is MiniTool partition wizard. Now the first thing we have to do is connect our pen drive and then create a bootable disk with macOS Sonoma. And to do that, let's install balenaEtcher. So balenaEtcher has been successfully installed. Now connect your pen drive at least 32 gigabytes. You can see that the file size of macOS Sonoma is about 14.9 gigabytes, so a 16 gigabyte drive won't be enough since the file size will be bigger than the drive itself. So make sure you have at least 32 gig flash drive. In my case, I have a 64 gig flash drive. If you have any data on the flash drive, you can just copy it to your PC, because it's going to format this drive and then create a bootable drive. So let's head to balenaEtcher, click on Flash from File, and then head to your download folder and select macOS Sonoma. Remember the links to every one of these files provided in the video description. Click on Open. Now you can click on Change over here and make sure your USB is selected. Now this is my USB, which is selected, 64 gigabytes. Select. Now click on Flash and it should begin creating a bootable disk with our USB. Now this may take about 20 minutes or less, or sometimes even more. It all depends on the read and write speed of your drive. While we are waiting, we have to confirm where we are installing macOS. So let's minimize this. So head to your search bar and then search for disk management. And you can see create and format hard disk partitions. Click on it. And here we go. So you can see over here, this is disk 0, which is our backup drive. This is disk 1, which is my SSD. You can see drive C here, and this is Linux. So you have to confirm where you want to install macOS. Now in my case, the drive with more space is our backup drive, and that is where I want to install macOS. In your case, you may have just one drive here, and that is okay. So we're going to shrink this drive where we want to install macOS and then create a new partition where we install macOS. So this means you can run Windows and macOS on the same PC using the same drive. But if you have two drives, you can just use one of your drive for macOS and use one of them for Windows. So if you want to install on your current drive, then you just have to back up your drive, and then no need to format it. You can just go ahead with the installation. But in this case, I want to partition this drive, so I'm going to right click, shrink volume. I'm gonna shrink about 70,000 megabytes, which should be around 68 gigabytes. Okay, now you can see it is unallocated. This is the partition where we want to install macOS. So let's right click new simple volume, next, next, assign a letter, let me just say P, next, let's give it a name, let's call it macOS 14 so we can easily recognize it, next, finish. And we've successfully created a new partition right here called macOS 14. Now we can head to our File Explorer and you can see this partition macOS 14. Now this is where we're going to be installing macOS Sonoma. Now head back to your download folder. Now we have to extract our EFI Opencore file. So let's right click and then extract. Okay, we can delete the zip file since we no longer need it. So we also have to extract GenSMBIOS. So right click, extract files. Okay, so we've extracted GenSMBIOS as well, so we can delete the zip as well. Now open GenSMBIOS, open, and then right here you can see a file called Windows batch file. So double click on this file to run GenSMBIOS. Now the first thing we have to do is install and update Mac serial. So enter 1 and then hit enter. Make sure you're connected to the internet because it has to download some packages. Secondly, we have to select config plist file. So enter 2 and then hit enter. Now head to your EFI folder. So let's head back to our download folder, locate EFI, open the EFI folder and then go to OC and you can see a file called config.plist. Now drag this config.plist and paste it in our command prompt. So paste it and then hit enter and you can see it has been selected. Now the next thing we have to do is generate SMBIOS. We have to generate unique serial keys for our macOS machine. So enter 3 and then hit enter. Now in this case we are generating the SMBIOS for iMac Pro 1,1. Hit enter and then hit enter to finish. Now we also have to generate UUID. So press 4 and then hit enter. Generated, hit enter to return. Now we can enter Q and then hit enter to quit. So we are done with generating SMBIOS for macOS Hackintosh. Now we can copy the EFI folder right here, copy it and just paste it on our download, and we can delete the Opencore EFI and also delete SMBIOS since we no longer need it. So the flash is complete. Now we can close balenaEtcher and open our download folder again. This time we have to install MiniTool partition wizard over here. Okay, now let's continue with the free version. Next, let's turn off both of these. Next, and then install. After installing, click on finish to launch MiniTool partition wizard. Okay, so if you look down here, you can see our removable disk with 64 gigabytes. You can see the symbol over here, and you can also see an EFI partition under our removable disk with 200 megabytes. Now right click on the EFI partition and then click on change letter. So let's change the letter to something we can easily recognize. So I'm just going to set it to V. Okay, and then click on apply. Yes. Okay, and then we can close MiniTool partition wizard. Now open your download folder and then extract Explorer++. And here we have it. Now open Explorer++ and you can see an application here, Explorer++. Now right click and run as administrator. If you don't run as administrator, you encounter issues, so make sure you run as administrator. So once you open Explorer++, you will be able to find EFI partition with drive letter V, which we assigned just now. So open the EFI partition and then delete everything in this drive. Yes. Okay, now head to your download folder, locate your download folder, and then locate your EFI folder we copied as well. Copy it and then head back to EFI partition, paste it there, and we can close Explorer++. Now we are ready to boot into macOS Sonoma. If this video was helpful, kindly hit the subscribe button and turn on your post notification. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next one.